Furry community is usually quite harmless, yet it often finds itself in the spotlight, sometimes in a less than flattering way. It's one of the most controversial communities in the world. But why is that? How can this community be inspiring? What kinds of strange things are associated with it? And is its bad reputation really deserved? We will answer all of that in today's video. Introduction to the furry community. The furry fandom began in the 1970s and 80s as a subculture focused on anthropomorphic animal characters, which means animals with human traits, emotions and behaviors. This interest expresses itself through art, comics, animation, stories, fursuits, VR chat and fan conventions. Its roots lie in the sci-fi and fantasy fandoms where such characters already existed. The first furry meetups happened at sci-fi cons, which led to the creation of furry-specific conventions like Conference in 1989. With the internet, the community grew and found new ways to express itself. For members of the fandom, commonly called furries, is a central concept their fursona, which is an animal alter ego reflecting their personality or ideal self. For some, it's a creative expression, for others, it's a part of their identity. The community is diverse. People join it for different reasons: art, friendship, or self-expression. While it might seem unusual, there is more to it than meets the eye. We will explore all sides of this community throughout this video. Fursuiting and its meaning. Fursuiting is one of the most visible activities of the furry community. It involves bringing your fursona to life through a fursuit, a costume that is used to present yourself both online and in the real world. Everyone approaches it differently. For some, it's just fun, for others, it's a way to temporarily become your ideal self. Reactions to fursuits are mostly positive, especially from kids and families who love taking photos and interacting. Negative responses usually happen online or behind the furries' backs. But overall, fursuiting spreads joy not just to furries but also to the people around them. It's not just about fun. Fursuiting also has a charitable side. Many furries participate in charity events, visit hospitals or children's homes, and help raise money for good causes. So the furry community not only brings smiles but also makes a difference.
Well, the furries helped out their own furry four-legged friends as Anthrocon broke a fundraising record over the weekend. The nonprofit organization chooses a local charity every year in our area with the aim to give back through the convention.
However, due to their flashy appearance and animal themes, furries are often targeted by rumors and unfair opinions that are far from the truth. Myths and stereotypes. The furry fandom faces many stereotypes, often based on misunderstanding or sensational media coverage. Let's break down a few of the most common. Furry fandom is just a sexual fetish. This myth spread in the 90s when the media often associated the furry community with erotic content. Although here, as in any other community, there are people who included this element in their lives. It is not the main purpose of the furry fandom. Most furries get involved for creativity, art, friendship and fun. You could even call it a lifestyle. Furries want to be animals. This comes from misunderstanding the idea of a fursona. It's a form of creative expression like designing characters in books, games or movies. Most furries see their fursona as part of their identity, not as a literal desire to become an animal. Furries are adults pretending to be kids. Fursuiting and roleplay might look childish from the outside, but it's similar to cosplay or theater. Creativity has no age limit, and today's society allows more freedom for people to express themselves however they want. Furries are weird or socially awkward. People with niche interests are sometimes labeled as weirdos, which applies to many subcultures. In fact, furries include introverts and extroverts, artists, programmers, students, parents, and successful professionals. For example, a furry might be a doctor who performed a difficult surgery on you and saved your life. As the saying goes, don't judge a book by its cover. Furries are above average perverted. Yes, there is a lot of sexual furry content online, but that kind of content exists in pretty much any community. For example, anime and its hentai. Controversial stuff tends to be the most visible, which creates a distorted view of the whole community. Just like in real life, you can come across some seriously messed up people, and the furry community has a few of them too. The easiest thing is to just ignore them. In the end, furries are mostly creative individuals who enjoy making art, building friendships, and exploring shared interests. Stereotypes come from ignorance, and once people get to know the community, they usually see it in a different light. We have cleared up quite a few myths and stereotypes. Let's say you meet someone who is a part of the furry community, and after a while you hear them use words and expressions that you don't casually hear. Furry slang. Like most larger communities, the furry fandom has its own words or slang that they use among themselves. Furries often prefer English as their language on social media, mainly for two reasons. The main reason is the global size of the community. Since there are not that many furries worldwide, in the order to attract as many people as possible on social media, they use English. The second reason is the better sounding slang or diminutives that they often use. As an example, we can mention the word sleepy, which furries often use in the form eepy. We could say that they like to use their own type of words. Other common expressions include the well-known uwu and owo, which are not exactly slang, but rather expressions that are used instead of common emojis. Specific words include reference sheet, which is a detailed graphic description of a fursona. YCH, which means your character. This is an abbreviation used in art or stickers where it represents your fursona in the form of an unpainted animal character. YIF is an abbreviation for erotic or sexual content related to furry themes. Another very popular word is boob, which represents a friendly nudge of the nose. However, it's not a rule that every furry has to use these words. Furry Events. The furry community is very active, so there are regular events from small meetups to large international cons. These events are not only to showcase fursuits, but also to make new friends. Meetups. Small, private gatherings of friends in cities or nature spots, often leading to social media content. Fursuit walks. Fursuit walks, especially popular in the USA, taking place in cities or in the countryside. They are often accompanied by photographers who take professional pictures. Outings. The most common type of organized furry events. They take place in cities, usually in parks, and in addition to a free gathering, they include a program such as a group photoshoot, merch sales, or an after-party. Participants include not only fursuiters, but also non-fursuiters who want to get to know the community. Cons. The largest furry events held in rented venues with a capacity of thousands of visitors, often lasting several days. The closest big con for Czech furry fans is Eurofurence in Germany, while in the USA, Antrocon or Midwest Furfest are among the best known. Cons tend to be paid and can be quite expensive abroad due to accommodation and travel costs. All of these events attract a large number of community fans each year. Not surprisingly, there is a very positive atmosphere at these events, with plenty of entertainment, and often participations make new friends as well as new experience. But nothing is as perfect as it may seem on a paper. Controversies and Crimes. Unfortunately, nothing is without controversy, and the furry community is no exception. Most of the cases have taken place in the United States. One of the most famous cases is the school bomb threat drama, when furry and non-furry students got into an argument in an American school. This conflict between the students escalated to several bomb alerts at the school. Police presence at the school increased and the situation gradually cooled down. The second very well-known case was the chlorine gas attack at Midwest Furfest 2014. The preparator broke a glass container of chlorine powder, which has very aggressive effects on humans. Respiratory and eye irritation is how this powder manifested itself. Around 20 people were hospitalized. Apart from these two cases, we have the Aaron Usery aka the Wolf case, the Yost family triple murder, then Wolfie Blackheart and the decapitation of the dog, Sappho the hypnotherapist, and the Vex and Jax situation, murder and the use of a dead dog for a fursuit. If you would be interested in these cases in more detail, let me know down in the comments. Everything has its light and dark sides. Situations like this are very rare indeed and often involves mentally weaker individuals taking advantage of the community for their nefarious plans. However, let's move past the bright side. Positives of the community. The furry community isn't just about costumes and fun. Many of its members actively contribute to society, whenever through charity, supporting children, or developing creativity. Charity events. Many furry gatherings include foundries for charitable causes. Entrocon in USA raises tens of thousands of dollars for charity each year, and in 2023 supported an animal rescue center with over $50,000. And the Eurofriends in Germany is regularly donates to conservation, and in 2023 donated over 40,000 euros. Creative contribution. The community is full of artists, writers and animators who share their work on platforms like Furaffinity and DeviantArt. Many of them are building their careers this way and helping others develop their skills. As I mentioned before, for some art-oriented individuals, their hobby can grow into something bigger which can change their life completely. Let's break this community down a little bit more financially. Furries and Business. Although the furry community is not the largest, a lot of money flows within it. The most valuable products are the fursuits, which some people make themselves, but most enthusiasts have them made by professionals. The suits come in a variety of variations, from a head alone to a full suit. They range in price from a few $100s to tens of thousands of dollars, with the most expensive suits coming from the USA. Another important area is the physical and digital art that helps furries visually represent their fursona. Artists focusing on this work can charge from units of hundreds of dollars for drawings or reference sheets that serve as the basic for the suits and other commissions. There is also merch which works on a similar principle to influencers. Virtual reality plays an important role in the community, especially VR chat. Many furries are investing in VR tech, including full body tracking, which can run into the thousands of dollars. Paid VR avatars are also popular, often requiring manual editing, making them another lucrative area to make money. All in all, if someone decides to invest in all of these aspects, their hobby can climb into the astronomical amounts. This also opens up opportunities for artists and creators who can make a full-time living out of it. Public perception. Reactions to the furry community vary. While some view it with excitement, others with confusion or prejudice. Negative perceptions often stem from the media highlighting controversial topics as well as ignorance of the context. People sometimes wrongly associate the community with zoophilia or find it strange or have negative experience, often linked to sexual content. Another factor is a narrow worldview. Some people find it difficult to accept other ways of expressing themselves than they are used to, so they cannot accept anything beyond their worldview. On the other hand, there are positive reactions, often from children and their parents. Fursuiters spread joy with their presence, give out hugs, and create a friendly atmosphere that can make the day more pleasant, not only for children but also for adults. A large part of the public remains neutral. They do not care about the furry community, they see it as just another interest group that does not limit them in any way. Final thoughts and call to reflection. To wrap things up, I would like to ask you to reflect. The furry fandom is much more than what you see on the surface or what the media tells you. It's a deeply creative community full of people who found meaning in something that brings them joy. Maybe this word will never make complete sense to you, and that's okay, but I hope today's video helped broaden your perspective. Every community deserves understanding and respect, even if it seems different. After all, behind the costumes could be a doctor who treats you, a pilot flying you on a vacation, or a soldier defending your country. Let's respect each other so long as no one's being hurt or harmed. Our hobbies don't define our morals. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like, comment, or subscribe. It really helps and show me you are interested in this kind of content. Not gonna lie, video like this took me a large amount of time. I would really appreciate your feedback. Meanwhile, check out my other videos and I will see you next time.